Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Melbourne Albert Park, right next to the downtown business centre of Melbourne on the northerly side of the track. And we are here for EU1 action this evening. Only 15 though. And but one person we are not missing is Sir Jack Prentice. Welcome again.
Pleasure to be here once again. It's going to be quite an interesting race. This is it's one of a street circuit so far, with it's got a bit of a sort of a permanent track layout in parts, but it is largely used on public roads. Very tight pit lane as well, which means that the drivers and the pit garages get very close together, which could be interesting in the event of a safety car, when I would suggest that the drivers would be bad neighbours and not very good friends, to quote that line from the famous TV show set here. It's going to be an interesting race, this, because it's very difficult to pass here, and you really do have to work an angle, and you have to be prepared to sit behind for a couple of laps in order to work out where the car ahead is weaker and where he's stronger.
Absolutely. And what we are not afraid of here in Albert Park is some incidents, some slips, trips and falls, as I call it, throughout the season. The high-speed chicane over 11 and 12. We've got the action between turns 1 down to 3 on Lights Out. We had a couple of safety cars and 2 VSCs in EU3 alone. There was drama in EU2 last night, specifically on the final lap, where Tom Webber was about to get a guaranteed P2 until he slipped and then finished P7. And things like that can happen around this circuit. Hello everyone in the stream, how are you doing? Yeah, we have maybe 2 more drivers on the way. Rowan and Samad, potentially. But lowish attendance, the lowest of the season, Jack Prentice, and now this is the time that the drivers who are here need to make up for it and try and get into that point.
Well, you know, you've got to take your chances where they come. It's quite a high attrition rate here as well. I mean, you know, very easy to retire here. There's a couple of corners, probably turn 2, turn 5, and in particular turn 12, that really can catch you out. If you get it wrong there and take too much curb, either inside or outside, not a one-way ticket to the wall more often than not. And drivers really do have to be careful of that. And if you're not, you're in, that's race over. And if you are, you'll invariably gain places.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know Australia very well, of course. New layout coming in 2021 to make it a little bit easier. Of course, the ejection of that 9 and 10 chicane. 3 DRS zones down to 1, down to 3, and between 12 and 13. We've got a lap time in. We've got 2. We've got an 18.9 from Vaporizer. We've got a 19.2 from Milan. And we have a 19.8 from Mr. Carter. A few more to cross the line. We've got Risa. It's a 9.02. 800s past Vaporizer so far. We've got AlphaTauri with Tom Robbo. He goes 19.1. And next car to cross is probably going to be another AlphaTauri of Rowan.
Rowan on a 1 minute 19.4 and Fruitful on a 1 minute 19.1. They're starting to tumble, aren't they, Limmy? I would suggest pole will probably be an 18.5 or an 18.4. Because track evolution here is quite strong, and you can really gain places, especially at turn 3 is another one, because as more rubber goes down and as the track gets better and better and better, the rear end grips a bit better and you gain tenth without really feeling it. Plus this is going to be the first lap as well, so they'll know where they need to improve, and most of these will be a banker lap. Obviously for the mere mortal like you and I, these are great laps, but for these, they're just getting their vocal cords warmed up before the big show, aren't they?
Getting their thumbs ready for some action. Just having a look from the penalties last week. There were no time penalties given by the stewards. Just some penalty points for telemetries not being public and incorrect racing number. So other than that, we're on a clean slate here this week. So we know the track, 29 laps, same as every other tier, 58 laps at 100%. Here comes Calzo very quickly before I carry on. It's a very slow lap, so he'll go again. 153.8 kilometers is the race distance.
Yeah, I was just
Jack, what
watching
was
Jamie through turn 14 actually.
Which one is
He's just
Jamie?
about to settle that. Jamie's in a Mercedes, he's reserving this week
Oh,
for
yeah.
Stinson, and he turned in almost too early. He had cars get out of his way, which probably unsighted him a bit. He turned in almost too early and had to turn back out of it, and yeah, it really did cost him time. 1 minute 20.2. I would suggest not representative for the Flying Dutchman from EU2. Very consistent performer at that level. Very rarely pulls up any trees, but very rarely is outside of the point. So I'd be interested to see how he gets on. Obviously, we had a couple of EU2 reserves last week, and they've provided some great racing, albeit in the minor placings. They've provided some great racing alongside Tom Robbo, who had what could best be described as an eventful opening lap or so. Just looking at them now, I think it's a Renault of Calzo. He's on a lap. Calzo in 11th place. Messed it up on his previous go. He's a 10th down on what he set previously, but it's 1 minute 40.8, so I would suggest that he's going to gain time here. Going to watch him as he goes across the line. It all looks rather neat and tidy, if not necessarily quick. Not hitting many apexes. Not running too wide either. The car looks fairly well balanced. I'd suggest, though, that he's probably... Well, it's a 1 minute 19.4, so he goes 8th, and they are tyres that have done 2 laps, I suspect. He'll be very keen to have another go.
Jono's lap would have been better without his slip out of the high-speed chicane. You'll hear us mention that a lot. Tom Robbo reserving for Pease, Jamie reserving for Stinson, Jono reserving for Dresse Basson, and Denzo is a permanent switch for Dynastics. A great driver who unfortunately had to leave. We'll go through the drivers' standings and constructors during the formation lap as usual. Blake says, can't wait to race tomorrow, love this track, it's so fun. Do you agree?
Yes, if you're a car ahead. If you're a car behind, it's not fun at all, not fun in the slightest, because it's such a tough ass to follow. But as a driver circuit, certainly, you can't really argue with it. It's, you know, you're always really on the go. There's not many times, I think there's a Red Bull that stopped out on circuit, but I think he'll be carrying on. Certainly as a driver circuit, you know, you're always awake, you're always doing something. I'm going to watch Reese now, he's going to start at that, the current pole sitter now, fires himself out in the final corner, 120 miles an hour, it's acceleration zone, need to stay off all of the curb, just take a little bit as you go across the line, that'll be the best run into turn 1. Turn 1, go down 3 gears to gear 5, hit the apex, but just make sure really that you're carrying a lot of exit speed for the acceleration zone that is turn 2. Bring the car to the right hand side and then let it drift because there's a little kink down the straight for turn 3. Nice and early on the power now. Bring the car wide for the best, straightest line through turn 4. Again for the turn 5, which is another acceleration zone. Really keep the car planted through there. Turn 6 now, the first sector's already done. And again, firing out of another acceleration zone for a corner. There's a lot of them here where one corner is literally just building up to the next straight. Here's another one here at turn 9 for the chicane. You need to get that apex nailed because you lose a tenth or two down the straight into turn 11 if you don't. Keep the car to the left hand side until you get to within sight of the apex and let it run wide. Attack the curve really through there. Car flies through there, that's excellent. That really is excellent. Second DRS zone now, into the final sector. A bit Mickey Mouse, this is off camber, that right-hander. You really have to sort of wait for the car to settle down. And again there, this final right-hander, almost the final right-hander on the lap. The hairpin there, turn 15. You have to make sure you don't lock an inside brake there and just effectively set the car up for the run through the final corner and down the straight. And that is a lap of Australia.
I love that lap.
That is a 1 minute 18.5. You've really given it some there.
Every single part of that lap was well, I wouldn't say perfect, there's always room for improvement in everything, but it was absolutely epic to watch on board with that. We took away all the standings so we could see it in.
I think Cool Hands Carter is not taking any further, sorry to cut across, I don't think he's taking any further part in qualifying, which I'm surprised at, because he's in the pit, so unless he's crashed and gone back to the pits, I don't know, but he's not taking any further part.
Well, here comes Denzo. Can he cement his spot? It's close. Only 400ths off pole. Not bad from the new McLaren. Vaporizer is starting his lap. Let's have a look at how Fruitful is doing on the track. He's coming through 9 and 10 now. Just have a look at some sectors. 26.042 for the first for Mr. Fruitful. And that's about half a tenth off, 21.373 in the middle. It's not bad as he loses winnings. He might even retire. Not just slow enough for the gain to help him out. Here comes Alp, who's on the lap. Purple second, apparently. even though that should be, yeah, second match, right? He's trying to get some slipstream off our Colo in his Ferrari car. Out in the 13, as much speed as you can. I'm not quite good at the track, guys, as Jack is, but I can at least comment on the car. Second to final corner in his little pink
little
Mercedes.
bit too wide through that penultimate corner. Had to really bring the car back out. It set his exit up all wrong. The final corner. I don't think it's going to be pole. It's going to be nowhere near. He's gone faster for him, but he's only P8. Yeah, he got it all wrong going into the penultimate corner. He was a bit late on the brakes. The front left didn't really want to go. Didn't really rotate as much. It almost looked like he was trying to avoid a lock-up. And when that happens, the car wafts wide, and you're just waiting, and you can feel it because you're waiting for the car, all in that split second, to slow back down and then gather it back up. But the problem is the final corner is right on you in that situation.
Vaporizer goes third fastest, 18.6. How can Rowan do? Was 10th, only 8th quickest. Calzo coming out of turn 9 and 10. Jono has just started his lap. IFO Rowan is coming through 9 and 10, just behind Calzo. I think Calzo is going to be one of the next ones to cross.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, Limmy, that Rowan's going to start where he qualifies. Because obviously the game glitches, doesn't it, and sends people to the back if they join halfway through qualifying. So I'm not so sure this is the wisest move from Rowan. It'll be nice to see how fast he can go, don't get me wrong, but I fear not altogether that fruitful.
Here comes Calzo Moreno. Can he cement his top 10? Top 6 for now. Then it should be Jono behind. We'll quickly flick to him. He's just come through that chicane, and one of the highest average speed chicanes on the calendar. These cars make it look easy compared to last year's cars, and it's still shaky in these cars because they're pushing the edge of the limits as fast and as far-fetched as they possibly can. Every 100th counts in a quali session, and here comes the Red Bull driver. Can he break into the top 10? Jono crosses the line, only 11th fastest. It's not bad if you get 11th, but you are at risk for dropping a few more. 16 in the lobby at the moment.
I think the Renaults are towing each other. Calzo's giving Conzo a bit of a tow. But
that is allowed, isn't it?
Yeah, that's allowed. We've got to make sure he didn't get that all wrong. I mean, not much up on this time. He's only 9,000, but every little helps.
What's quicker, going down to the chicane or after the chicane with a slipstream?
Depends really on how close they are. I don't think they've really choreographed that well, to be honest, because yeah, he was getting a bit close through the chicane at turn 8 and 9, and then obviously going into turn 11 and 12. You know, you get so much turbulence. What you really want to do is to be sort of passing the baton on, as it were, going down the DRS. You know, going down that DRS, second DRS, only into turn 13, turn 14. But he goes 11th. So not a bad place to start here because of the fresh tyres you'll be on.
Rowan's only 7th, by the way.
Yeah, well he's only put him. Yeah, he's put himself 7th, isn't he? That's his banker though, isn't it? Which puts Fruitful 11th and Conzo back down to 12th.
Oh, the fans there around this track. Very high attended track, Australia. Not during COVID-19, of course, but very popular. Starting race of the season typically. It's now going to be somewhat towards the end, and somewhat towards the end of this calendar. I'm quite shocked that wasn't an invalidation. Oh, there you go, there's your karma. That was definitely all four wheels off the track, Mr. Reset, and that was definitely a now invalidation, if not the first one. How's our Colo doing?
Yeah, unless he's gone for a softer setup, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's lost all three soft tyres. He might have gone for a softer tyre choice. It is a one stop here in either a soft hard or medium hard. So
soft and mediums work well for the Rage. Soft to medium, pitted in at 10 or 11. Works
you have to be really good at nursing your tyres though, and that's not a skill set that everyone has. So I'd be reticent to really sort of say that that's the best way to go unless you're really confident you can make it work.
So
you notice that Boatman hasn't set a lap time. He's invalidated on all attempts so far, 16th. He's almost going to have to put his banker in as his final go too, and that's, I mean, you never want that. I'll tell you that now. You never want to be without a lap time going in because you can't really let the car flow because you haven't got anything to fall back on.
Yeah, someone asking about Samad. 50-50, he said, whether he was going to be here or not. He has been sent 2 invites, so whether he joins with 2 minutes to go and gets on the grid or not, who knows? We've only got 1 car on track at the moment. No, to make that 2. A couple of people coming out of the pits now. And,
they're trying to mess with you, Limmy.
They're trying to mess with me, aren't they? 2:24 on the clock with a little bit more with the glitch. And Boseman is going to be the one who's going to start his quick lap first. So we could go on another track guide very shortly. Why not? You seem to have mastered the Albert Park guide.
No pressure.
No pressure, never
no
is.
Pressure at all.
No pressure for Boseman,
always
by the way. Like you said, he's invalidated every lap. And he hasn't got a time. He has got some pace, Mr. Boseman. He just needs to show it without going past that white line with all 4 tyres.
He needs to make sure he keeps it on the black stuff at all times, because that's where the problem's going to be. He needs to keep at least 1 tyre inside the curve at all times, because otherwise, nada. No me gusta nada, says the game. Look at him setting it up now. Quite aggressive on the brakes through the third to last corner. And now he's going to fire it up. He's going to have a slower entry and slower apex to make sure that he gets the straightest, widest line before he really attacks. Now I'm going to be interested to see. Now again, up to 200 miles an hour just passed, down 3 gears, really attack that apex. He's not leaving anything on the table there. Make sure you don't take too much of the exit curve, because you'll spin off or you'll lose the back end. He takes it slightly wider down the straight, opens it up for turn 3, early on the power there, takes it wide through turn 4, and he's, wouldn't have been at all surprised if he's invalidated, but he smashed his car up instead.
That's a new end plate coming from Gunter Steiner.
Yeah, he caught the exit curve. I think you'll probably be...
Vaporize will be next, Jack, if you want to continue, just for car behind.
Yeah, well, if you want to be Formula 1 of old, he did a bit of a Nakajima in 2009. Vaporizer managed to avoid that fate. Boseman's going to be starting at the back. Not a fate to be befalling Vaporizer.
Got to put a good lap in, though. Championship League, if he wins here, he's in a very good spot for the rest of the season.
He's over a 10th up going through the first sector, so I would suggest he's not going to be too far away. Really attacks turn 9. That's a perfect exit as well. Really gets the car straight. And then also has a short exit out, so he's going to hug the inside line and then let the car drift as soon as the turn 11 apex gets inside. Bit of a correction onto turn 11, isn't there? There's a bit of a correction.
But you take it so quick.
Turn 12, bit of a scruffy turn 12 as well. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he lost a 10th there. Attacks the curve then for 14. This turn 15 through here, you think you can go faster than you can go, and you end up waiting for the car's front end to grip. It's a really frustrating corner. Going into the penultimate corner now. Again, you're really setting it up for the final corner to make sure that you can stay on the power at all times. It's going to be a 1 minute 18, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It is a 1 minute 18.531. I was wrong, but Risa and Denzo have yet to answer back.
Absolutely. Here comes Jamie. The Mercedes across the line next was 15th place with 20.2. It's a 19.5, goes 14th. Alpi's next. He absolutely banged on match Vaporizer. His third sector goes second fastest, 32 milliseconds behind the current pole sitter. Tom Robbo or Rowan is next, who's backed off. Red Bull of not Jono. It's going to be Milan. He goes P7. And the McLaren next of Denzo. He can't improve, Jack. Only P4 checker flag for him.
Yeah, Reese is half a 10th up going into the second sector, and he's really flinging it round. He just needs to stay on par. Arcolo goes second. Great lap from the Ferrari.
Reese is next, Jack.
Now what we see from the Mercedes is a 1 minute 18.4.
I love that.
Excellent lap time, and I like being right because it's put pole position at a 1 minute 18.4, which is where I said would be the best. I don't think anybody's going to match that.
That's the end of quali. And that is
finished.
The man who set up the lobby so kindly every week has got it on pole. And just quickly checking the power rankings, I believe that's his first pole of the season. Oh no, it isn't. He's had one. He's had one. I don't know where he's had it. He says he's had one, but that's his second pole in 7 races.
Monaco, because he's always been fast there, hasn't he? But no, Robin only ends up 9th. Or bowling, or whatever he's called this week.
Probably going to call him bowling.
Well, he's ended up 9th at best, and I'm not sure he's going to stay there because of the glitch. The wonderful glitch that Formula 1 has. I'm surprised Boseman didn't finish his... Just looking at it, I don't think he finished his lap, did he?
No, and that's for 2.
Well, no, it wouldn't have done anything there, would it? Because I forget that Carter had set a lap, but Carter's not been happy here either, is he? In 15th.
Well, he said he'd just done 5 laps before we got in, and that's not a lot. The 2 Hasses at the bottom. The 2 Alpha Tauris 10th and 11th. We've got a 2 Racing Point. Vaporize out 2nd and 4th. Mercedes, of course, lead him away. Arcolo, good lap from him. 6,000ths of a second quicker than Alp. He gets himself at the start of the second row of the grid, of course. Denzo on his debut for EU1 gets a 5th place, ahead of Fruitful, ahead of Milan, ahead of Calzo. And I'm just looking at the power rankings. Of course, I'll go through them during the formation lap, but drivers are struggling really bad with consistency, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, the top 3 in the championship, their average position 5.5 each. The only, have a guess, Jack, if you can. Who's got the best average race finishing position in EU1 right now?
I would suggest it would either be Vaporizer.
Vaporizer's 5.2.
5.2. Who's 5.1 then?
Bolling's 5.8. Risa
Yep.
5.7. Alp 2.7.
Is it?
Alp's average
But he's not
position
in every race, is he?
is 2.7. But imagine if he was.
Well,
Look what Fruitful did last season.
It was, well, Fruitful made what could best be described as quite a comeback, didn't he?
It's all about consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it says
just
Jesse Bassen's average position is 2.8. That's not quite correct because he's had 1 podium in 6 races, so that's a little bit off. But I believe Alp's average position is 2.8.
Yeah, I think it's put Bowden right at the back.
Has it?
It's going to be on old.
Wow.
It's going to be on old tyres. I would wager.
That never used to be a glitch, did it?
Been a
It
glitch
used
for a
to.
little while. I don't know that because I fell victim to it. Yeah, it's put him on softs. So Rowan and Konzo are the big
Wait,
winners.
so that means
They're on
Rowan-
hard. Yeah, Rowan's on hards and he's got free tyre choice.
Is that allowed? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He's done nothing wrong. It's told him to start on those tyres. He's done nothing wrong. It's not his fault somebody turned up late. So yeah, moves him up to 10th. Konzo 11th. Yorno, and they're both on hards. Yorno, Jamie, Coolhands, Carter, Boastman are all on mediums. They'll be looking to go to probably about lap 10, lap 11, lap 12. And they'll be hoping for a safety car to not appear until after lap 7 or 8.
Yes.
At that point, they'll be having their fun on the medium tyres. Soft runners, those who've not been able to hold on, the soft runners will box for. They'll have to pit for their hard tyres because the soft tyres will be at that point absolutely finished. And then you've got the 2 hard runners who won't want any kind of safety car at all, which is ambitious, bearing in mind that this is Australia and safety cars are a regular visitor here, aren't they?
Well, over good Bert Mylander driving with the lights on. Constructors Championship, Racing Point 137, Williams 119, Mercedes 96. Then you have a 2 Honda powered Alpha Tauri and Red Bull 52 and 50. The other teams are a little bit off. Vaporizer leading the championship, 83 points, 15 ahead of Bolin or Rowan. You'll get both names. He starts last on the grid. Reese is 62. He's got a great opportunity to fire up that grid. And Alp, Vaporizer's teammate in 4th place in the championship after only 3 or so races with Fruitful behind.
Yeah, certainly set up very nicely, isn't it? If Vaporizer's got a bit of a head start though, isn't he? He's consistent enough to just keep banking those points. Bahrain aside, he's been in good form all year, and I suspect that's what we'll see again this time round. Starting from second, he's not a man to take too many unnecessary risks.
Contact on Monday. No contact Tuesday. What's going to happen on a Wednesday night? Here in Albert Park, it's lights out and away we go. Risa away well, as does Vaporizer. Co-Masters having a glitch already, so we'll go on board with Risa's gearbox as we can. Into turn 1 we go, and it's an absolute farce on my view, Jack. I can't see anything. The cars are all over the place on the track. I believe that's our Colo, then Calzo, who's up to 3rd place already.
Collision. I think it's Coolhands Carter. Yes, he has retired. There's a heart in the wall, and that took
Safety car.
no time at all. Well, that's just what the hard and medium runners did not want. I think some of the soft runners are going to be coming in to go to hard to the end. They'll just about make it, but they'll be awful. With regards to with regards to Carter, he got a good start as well. He's moved up, and I don't know who he was jousting with, to be honest. I don't know who he was battling, but he appears to have been spared into the wall. I think it was a case of all cars jostling for a place, and he was the unfortunate victim there. But well, he's not enjoyed this week at all. He's not had hardly any practice, and he's never professed to be a fan of the circuit, and he's out before they make turn 3.
I just want to apologise firstly to the viewers there, because it was an absolutely dire showing from Codemasters. I couldn't get any camera on any of the action, but when I went to go back to Risa, it had flipped me to the bottom of the grid. So I do apologise if you didn't see much of it, unfortunately. But Carter is out. We do have a safety car, and Kauzo has made 4 off the start. Alp has dropped 2, Denzo has dropped 4th and 5th place, Tom Robbo's at 1, and up 3 for Rowan, who started, of course, 16th on the grid. Safety car deployed for the first 2 laps of this Grand Prix. And again, just to apologise, that viewing was horrendous.
That more soft runners haven't pitted. Denzo's put on mediums. I think he had a bit of damage front wing. I'm surprised that. Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. So Boseman and Rowan have put hard tyres on, and I think Rowan's just doing that to get rid of those tyres. Denzo's come in to put mediums on. He's going to have to stop again. I'm not quite sure I understand that. Yeah, no, it's a strange one. A lot of soft runners have decided that they don't think those hards are going to get to the end. That could leave them, as the field sort of settles itself down. It's effectively going to be a first lap on lap 4 potentially. And that could leave them quite vulnerable to an undercut, or even not even an undercut, but they could leave them quite vulnerable to, cars on not that much older hard tyres. I'm speaking about Boseman and Rowan here. They can really be, okay, the 13th and 15th, they can really be in the box seat here.
Can they get to the end, yeah?
They can. They'll be awful. Don't get me wrong, they'll be awful, and they'll want the safety car to stay out for 2 or 3 laps. But they can make the end if they absolutely have to.
Looks like they've caught the safety car up in time, so the safety car lights are probably going to come off, and we can restart this Australian Grand Prix, hopefully, with the standings intact and a few decent cameras, so we can actually see what's going on. But Mylander, are you going to turn your lights off?
That'll be another lap. It'll be another lap for Final Codemasters.
Everyone's there.
Interesting to see. Yeah, everyone is there, but this is Codemasters.
Helping the hards out a little bit, maybe?
It'll help the hard runners, well, the fresh hard runners. It won't help those in 9th or 11th. And I'm looking at you, Rowan and Konzo. Konzo, who shed a place. And who's that coming in? Tom Robbo's decided to come in. Well, he's doubly shot himself in the foot there, because he's not only is the field caught up, he's going to be stone dead last, when he'd have had a chance really to be the first of the hard runners, and therefore the first of the cars that pitted don't have to stop again. Yeah, very strange, all very strange.
I don't know if this is weird or not, but I'm going to ask it, because I don't normally go on board with the first car. I just want to see how Reese is doing up top here. He's not really warming up the tyres, he's just driving.
No, you don't want to. Not really, not until
at the end.
Absolutely have to, because the wear rate here is so pathetic on soft tyres that if you weave and if you're quite aggressive in terms of warming your tyres up, you do wear them, even if it's by an extra 1, 2, 3%. It really is quite pronounced here, so you don't want to be doing that until you absolutely have to. And of course, he'll be the one that's controlling the field when the safety car comes in. I expect it will come in this lap. But he'll be the one controlling the field, and he'll be the one then who's at liberty to warm his tyres up as and when he needs to. For me, mostly the rear tyres that will need to warm up, because the fronts and the brakes, they'll warm up of their own accord. As soon as you hit the brakes into the first corner, as long as you're a little bit careful, they'll start to warm up. The safety car is in this lap, Limmy.
Yeah, it should have been at the end of 2, but it's all good. We'll crack on from lap 3 onwards, ladies and gentlemen, with 25 laps of racing to go. 26 laps of racing to go. And here comes Reese now, warming up his tyres. He can go whenever he wants, once the safety car is in, of course. Is he going to go early? Is he going to go late? Who knows? Can vaporise Arcolo, Council, Fruitful, etc. Keep up with the flow, and we'll go on board with Reese's gearbox. That might give us a good indication of how well he can get away. Safety car is now in the pit lane. Reese can go whenever he pleases. Vaporize is backed off a little bit. Like, Reese can go like now. And he has gone. And Vaporize has timed that horrendously and gets a snap of oversteer for his efforts too. We restart the Australian Grand Prix and Reese has got a 1.5 second head start already. Then comes Vaporizer, then Arcolo, Calzo, Fruitful and Alp. No overtakes down to turn one. It's all relatively clean as the cars make their way through there at about 125 miles an hour. And all clean, Jack, to be fair.
Yeah, Vaporizer really did outsmart himself on the the restart there. He made Reese's choice for him. He didn't keep Reese guessing, and he basically just opened the door for Reese to walk away. Now, whether Reese can maintain this, he's been the fastest man consistently, hasn't he, throughout this session and throughout the lobby, is another thing. But Vaporizer really has given himself a rather needless handicap.
That was definitely not done on purpose, by the way, because Vaporizer wants to win this championship. He just got it wrong. The man who's 15 points ahead. There has been an overtake at the back of the grid, and that is Boseman, who has got ahead of Rowan, I believe. So maybe a mistake from the Williams driver there. Boseman into 12th place, one of the men who pitted on that safety car.
It was Denzo. They both mugged Denzo. I think Denzo had got Boseman at another point, but Rowan was behind Denzo, I know, starting the lap. And I think that Boseman wanted his place back, got his place back, and punished Denzo doubly there. Denzo, he's got to get on with it, because those medium tyres, there's not a cat in hell's chance they're lasting to the end of the race. And so, you know, he's really got to get the hammer down and get his elbows out.
No DRS until lap 6, the second lap after the safety car restart. On board with the Renault of Calzo as he tries to head down to turn 3 and catch Ecos Arcolo. He's obviously joined the esports team at COS. Calzo's not got it easy though. He's got a last season's winner right behind him in his Williams car, chasing the Renault driver down as we head flat through turn 5 on lap 5 of the Australian Grand Prix.
We didn't really comment on how bad a start Alp got. He's dropped to 6th.
Yep.
And
that was before the safety car came out.
Yeah, this was before the safety car. We never really mentioned it, did we? But I mean, he's down 2 places. Calzo was excellent, wasn't he? He gained 4 places on the opening, 3 corners. He must have had a bit of a sort out there. And okay, some of that's been. No, none of that was towards Tom Robbo's charitable pit stop, was it? And Denzo pitted. Well, Denzo got damaged, didn't he? But yeah, really poor start for Alp. He'll be hoping for a lot better. Meanwhile, 1.8 seconds the lead gap. I would suggest that Vaporizer's really regretting that leisurely approach to his restart on lap 3, because Reese is starting to inch away, isn't he?
He is a bit. DRS enabled for this race, and Rowan 3 tenths behind Boseman. He's going to get the DRS after this little bit here, so from turn 2 down to 3 is when you can first activate it, and we all know that it can help. Still tricky to get past though. DRS, to be fair, was introduced to make you go wheel to wheel instead of actually overtaking. It was to make you get level with the car in the braking zone. Australia is a circuit where that is actually true. Like, it won't genuinely get you the overtake. You will have to fight for it, especially against someone like you, JP.
I'm making no comment, but you know, you might as well challenge people here and there. But enough about me. It's a DRS train. Konzo did have DRS on Yorno ahead. He's just fallen out of that.
Just
but
nipped out, hasn't he?
5 cars, all within a second of the next car ahead, and so you're never really going to get a pass done if the car ahead has also got DRS, unless you've got quite an overspeed, or you've got a lot, you know, a much less downforce, because, you know, fundamentally, you know, he's got the same age ahead, so you're just going to be line astern, really, sort of all follow the leader.
Beautiful helicopter views of the grandstands, and what even want to know how much it costs to sit there. As long as they get the racing entertainment they pay for, it's all good. 65 viewers, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Albert Park. You've missed 3 laps on the safety car.
I think Arcolo's getting a bit of itchy feet behind Vaporizer.
Itchy feet in terms of he wants to move, or his patience is being tested?
Both, really. He's been never more than half a second off the back of Vaporizer, and Vaporizer is fundamentally slower than Reeser. He's a tenth or two a lap slower. Doesn't sound like a lot, but 0.2 of a second was enough.
It adds up.
To 5/10 in qualifying, so it can be a lot. Denzo's the first man into the penalty yards. Well, it's a debut for him, and there's a way to mark it, I guess. In 14th, it's not been the start that the German wanted.
So Denzo's the one with the penalty, of course. You can see that on screen. 3 seconds. Leader gap on screen also. All drivers within 13 seconds, so not bad. 4 laps after a safety car. 2 more penalties have just clocked in there. One for a guy who wants to win the championship, and one who's making his reserve debut. Interesting stuff. All the drivers with the penalties in the bottom 5 at the moment.
Yeah, so some of that might be turbulence. It was through the fast chicane, the long chicane really, at 11 and 12. And I would suspect that was either a turn in too early, which is very easy to do, or a run slightly wide, which the game will punish you rather harshly for. I've noticed though that Konzo on his hard tyres is slightly slower than Rowan ahead. Rowan is 2 seconds ahead. 2 seconds and 2 places ahead of Konzo. Konzo's got a bit of a queue behind him at the moment. Whether or not that will change, because obviously those hard tyres will start to come in, whereas the cars ahead will eventually have to pit. Konzo and Rowan will be pitting, and will be pitting, I would suggest, for soft, unless they decide to go for an undercut and go into mediums with probably 12 or 13 laps left. It's probably something that you could do. But yeah, there's a bit. That could be quite key, really, because if the soft runners up ahead can build enough of a gap so that they're not ahead, they're not going to be ahead. But so they're within striking distance. And when those tyres do go off towards the end, then we'll see, really. Then we'll see whether it was indeed the best thing to do to come in or not. The worst decision I maintain was Tom Robbo, because he stayed out and then he pitted and put himself right at the back.
Reese's last lap, 3 tenths quicker than Vaporizer. 49% Reese's highest, 53% Vaporizer's highest, and I'm sure the soft tyres can do an extra couple of laps, maybe 11, because of that early safety car. And they should be able to go soft medium from this point, Jack. Obviously with that extra lappage they're able to do, it should help them enough to nurse those tyres.
Yeah, I might suggest that some might just go for the conservative option and go onto hard tyres, because knowing that they're going to be in much better shape towards the end. It really does depend though. The good thing for Reeser is that he's got a near 3 second gap. He slowly built that gap, well, he quickly built it at the restart, and he started to edge away. Vaporizer's been busy watching his mirrors, and you subconsciously do that. It does cost you a tenth or two. But the good thing for Reeser is he won't be undercut in this position, or it's going to be, if he pits a lap after Vaporizer won't gain 3 seconds on him.
Calzo picks up a 3-second time penalty, delegated by Codemasters, and after that safety car, just looking at the fuel loads, literally everyone on the grid has more than 2 plus 200 laps worth of fuel, which doesn't mean 2 laps, by the way. It probably takes about 0.4, so that's like 4 or 5 extra laps of fuel. Rich fuel there, but there we go. We've got fuel to play with. I'm sure they're using it, if not now, later on. Extra weight hurts your tyres just that little bit more. I don't know how much difference it makes. Jack will probably know more than I do, but each car being a little bit heavier at the moment on that fuel.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily feel it, but it's there. It's
it is taking effect behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's like a bruise on your shoulder blade. You're never really going to notice it unless you push it. But with that extra heavy, with that extra sort of couple of laps of fuel, you notice it more at low fuel qualifying runs than when you're in the race, because
someone's had an incident there, Jack. Sorry, Calzo's just lost 2 places coming out of turn 6 there. I didn't quite see it, but I know he's been passed by Fruit for an Alp, and he got a penalty. So, yeah, he's gone back to where he started the Grand Prix. No, actually, it was even worse than that, wasn't he? Yeah, he was 8th, yeah.
I suspect, I mean, we didn't see it, but didn't see how close Fruitful was, to be perfectly honest.
So we'll
find out.
But
exactly.
Yeah,
we'll find out exactly how it is. It doesn't look really.
Oh, we got another safety car!
A safety car, and that's going to be music to the ears of the lead duo.
Wow! Yeah, he did.
Risa made it.
Wow, that must have been close. Risa might have saw that before we did. To be fair, it came up quite instantly. I always just saw the yellow flag.
He may have been, that may have been planned.
Who's going to get held up? Is Out going to get held up?
Yes.
How badly? Let's have a count.
There's the runner behind him, I think, because
1,
they're giving up.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, about 6.5 seconds. So about a wing change there for Alp. Has he been jumped? I don't think he actually has. No. And Konzo stayed out.
The person it hasn't worked out for is Rowan.
Why not?
Rowan pitted, didn't he, to put half tyres on.
Yeah.
Now he's had to put mediums on.
Yeah. Why don't you stay out?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is that what you should have done?
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, because you're going to be on much slower tyres.
He's just in a bad situation, isn't he? Bless him.
Yeah, Konzo, I'm not entirely certain as to the reason he hasn't stopped, but I would suggest that he's either back in for a late VSC, which can happen.
Yeah.
Or he's thinking that if he can hold people up, then he might be able to gain a bit of time and come in a bit later on. Personally, this has worked out well for Milan. Milan's 8th. He almost got an undercut, as it were.
We have. Yeah, I mean, we've had 2 retirements. Second safety car. This one's going to last another lap, of course, the minimum requirement. Everyone's already caught it up, but we know what happens with safety cars. So it gives us time to relax. Lets the drivers relax. I didn't expect Tom Robbo to go out on the high-speed chicane, but that just shows it can happen to anybody, and a safety car can come at any moment. How unlucky would it have been for Risa if he had just passed the pit lane? It was incredibly close.
I might be speaking as an old man comparatively, but it is 2 of the younger drivers in the race that have found strife. So a win for the golden oldies here. 25, I feel a bit like an elder statement compared to these.
You're only 25.
Yeah, well, not even that. I'm not for another.
If you were Ricciardo at 32 or 33, I might understand. But,
hey, listen, you're as old as you feel. I feel about 50.
It depends if Ricky's watching. If he's watching, I might get in trouble. If he's not watching, I'm safe.
Well, he looks younger, I'm sure. So, Konzo, he's backing another incident to happen, and I don't know. It's high risk. It's bold. It brings his teammate into play as well. His teammate's 7.
Yep.
But what this does is, because he's already stopped. If I'm not wrong, I could be wrong on that. I'll have to check. Actually, no, he hasn't stopped because he still needs to stop. He's backing for either an incident to happen a little bit later, in which case, at that point he's been a net gainer because he's not been at his best, or he's backing himself on fresh tyres against largely older mediums or hards. To be able to come through the field like a hot knife through butter, that means he's going to have to save his ERS and make sure that he's got enough overtake left in the tank at every driver he gets to. It also means he's going to have to attack pretty much straight away as soon as he gets there, because otherwise, it's never really going to work. And what he'll need as well is for this safety car to get in as early as possible, because otherwise, with each passing lap, he's less and less time.
Oh, Ricciardo is in mid-shot. He may have heard me. No. It is a fault for you very quickly, Jack, because I believe the safety car is going to come in this lap. There is a new rule in Formula 1, 2021, where after a safety car, race control can opt for a standing start with lights again. Would you be interested in Codemasters adding that in to the next game?
No.
Oh. I disagree,
no.
But fair enough.
No.
So it'd do like a formation lap. You get to about here, just down there, and it'd take over. You line up and you go again.
It's too artificial. There's nothing wrong with a rolling restart. That's the best way to do it, because otherwise you're going to leave yourself more likely to have even more safety cars, and it just becomes a farce at that point. So no, I think it's a daft rule. I'm
Fair
glad
enough.
they didn't implement it in Bahrain.
Fair enough. I have a fetish for Formula 1 lights, so I disagree. But it'd just be more chaos, I guess, in online racing. Here we go then. Konzo's in charge of the second safety car restart now. He's gone a little bit later this time, and he can go whenever he wants. Before that finish line, he's waiting, he's teasing, when's he gonna go, and he's gone. The Renault driver, Rita, gets away very well actually, keeps just behind the Renault. Fruitful's got a good getaway as well, but he's gonna back off behind the Racing Point of Vaporizer and keep it safe. In turn one we go again, Arcolo, then comes out Calzo, Yorno has got past, oh, there's a Mercedes who's spun in his the reserve driver of Jamie, who's facing the wrong way on the track, and Konzo has been surpassed by Rita at the front of the grid, and he's into second place.
Rita got past Konzo, that was crucial. He made the move into turn 3, got a better exit off of the chicane, and Konzo didn't fight it too hard. I think he got a bit of an overlap very early down the straight, but that could be very key because Vaporizer's got almost another lap potentially stuck behind Konzo on his old hard tyres. Got him into the inside of turn 3. It was a very nice clean move, and well, it gives him quite a gap, quite a buffer to his main rivals.
Oh, Jono, is he going to go down the inside on Calzo into the high-speed chicane? It's risky, backs off. That takes Calzo, gives him a little bit of braking action, allows Rowan to pull away. Those two are going wheel-to-wheel through 9 and 10 with Rowan and Calzo, but they've managed to control and save themselves. Vaporizer's got past Konzo. Konzo's going for an inside switcheroo, can't pay off the Tizer, and not too good, Jack.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was the best move for Konzo, but it was damned if he didn't really, because he's losing places left, right and centre, whereas he would probably have been held up by his teammate had he pitted. But where he is now, obviously losing 3 places, it's just going to be an uphill struggle. Those cars behind, drivers have been slightly faster anyway, they're going to be on much better tyres, possibly 2 seconds a lap faster. I mean, Vaporizer's 2.3
sorry, Jack,
seconds
just one sec.
behind
I think Rowan's going to go down on Alp. Is Alp going to put up a fight? Wheel-to-wheel action between the AlphaTauri and Racing Point. What a move by Rowan. He's through. He nearly also clips the back end of Arcolo. Doesn't just about. And Rowan's ahead of Alp. Good move from the AlphaTauri driver and makes it stick through turn 4 and 5.
Opportunistic there. He blocks the exit. If you can get around the outside, and if you can stay level around the outside of turn 3, you block the exit.
Oh, Alp's coming back, Jump very quickly. Breaks super late. He's on the grass. It's the Racing Point, and now Calzo's going to straight swap from right to left and go past the Racing Point. Here comes Rowan as well, who's had a great start of a safety car. Alp has lost 3 places in half a lap there and has to sit behind the Williams driver. Not the best spell for the Racing Point, who's also on the grass again.
Yeah, he got a bit impetuous. Yorno's got past him now, so he really has been stung because Boastman now coming down the inside. He got a bit impetuous when he got passed by Rowan. There's damage, I think, is there from Milan?
I don't know.
No,
I hope
quite.
not.
Yeah, he got a bit too, unlike Alp really. Alp's normally a bit more of a thinking driver. There's a bit of contact there too, but he got really impetuous. He got really sort of too feisty, really, trying to get back past Rowan. Rowan had embarrassed him a bit, and it's never nice being overtaken around the outside. But he got a bit too feisty, was trying too hard to get the place back. There's still 14 laps, still only halfway through, and yeah, it's cost him badly. He's now down to 11th, and there's only a car ahead that's got to pit. Apart from that, he's got to start making moves himself.
60 seconds ago, Alp was P6. He's now P11. He's done a Tom Robbo from last night. Sorry, Tom. I couldn't help myself. And he's retired tonight. Tom has not had a good week in Albert Park. Here comes Rowan. Is he going to have a go on Arcolo? Maybe. Arcolo's leaving a gap. Oh, and then he comes into the left. Oh, no, you can't do that. I don't think. And Rowan is now off the track, and he's going to drop down behind Alp and behind Milan and Denzo. Come on, you can't do that. Den's on the inside of the chicane, and they go wheel to wheel, and the Red Bull comes off second best. It's all getting feisty and mean here in Albert Park, and it's not the cleanest of driving for that lap.
Yeah, it's a bit of a 5-lapper mentality. I don't really understand why. Denzo, you've got to be certain if you're going to be going down the inside into that chicane. Very difficult to go wheel to wheel through there. Very difficult to even go half wheel to wheel through there.
Arcolo's got past you into.
Yeah. No, well, Loconzo's had a bit of a reprieve, hasn't he, with everybody else crashing into each other behind him. Yeah, in terms of Rowan's really unfortunate there because it was a bit of an innocent victory. He just got shafted out to the outside, didn't he? I think it's a bit of tunnel vision from the cars ahead, and it was always going to end in tears, really, when you've got so many people so determined, really, and thinking more with the right foot as they are with their brains. As can happen to the best of us, but it's cost Rowan. Great for the viewer, but not great for the Dutchman.
Yeah, it's mean, it's mean. Here comes Rowan. Is he looking for the outside? Conzo, that's what the other car should have done. Give him that space. Rowan, room around the outside, on the right hand side. He gets very close to the wall on the car, but manages to squeeze through his Williams vehicle, and he's past Conzo. And now he's got his teammate behind him, and I wonder if he's going to let him pass. Probably not.
I think it's going to be a bit of Fernando is faster than you. Coming up quite soon. I suspect that there'll be formation flying. It might even be that Conzo pits for fresh mediums. He's in a good position now where, okay, he's going to drop off the back from the start, but it'll be a lot faster, and these are starting to fight. In fact, he does. I suspect that that's medium tires going to be put on. Fresh soft might just get to the end, but he'll be struggling towards the end.
He must have heard you. As I think there's two people pit. Oh no, there's just one. Just for standings flicking through. And on board with Boastman in the Haas. So we got Reeser, Vaporizer through for the top three at the moment. Penalties showing on screen. Everybody's a 3 second apart from the 12th and 14th who have 6. And Boastman there nearly hitting the Red Bull's backside or gearbox. And he just stayed away, nice and calm. 3, 4, 6 attempts behind Vaporizer. Reeser's pulled away 3 seconds. Looking good, isn't he, for a Mercedes driver?
Yeah, 3 seconds. He's quite comfortable at this stage now. Vaporizer, I don't think he's going to be a threat to him unless Reese starts to lose tyres or starts to lose composure. I think Vaporizer's his battle is with Fruitful. That's going to be where the main action is for me. I think for to sort out the podium. Zarkalo's dropped off a bit, and Bolin I think might just have him soon. Conzo's come out 14 seconds off the pack and 18 seconds off of 10th place, so he's got a bit of work to do. He's got to get nearly 2 seconds a lap. Whether he does or not is another matter, but it's going to be interesting with cars ahead. They're all on older tyres and all fighting each other. Really, it's all arms and elbows, isn't it?
A little bit. Rowan doing very well now, 16th on the grid to 5th, Bozeman 15th on the grid to 8th, doing very well, down 5 for Alp as we saw, and Rowan is only down 1 from his race start, but he was much higher after that incident, and I'm sure that will be submitted. Fruitful was 6th on the grid, he's up to 3rd at the moment, lap 18 of 29, it's all calmed down from the past couple of laps, and thank God it was getting a little bit feisty. And it's a feisty track, isn't it, if it starts getting feisty by the drivers.
Something that you may want to look out for, Louis.
Go on.
Risa has 2 warnings, whereas Vaporizer has just a solitary warning. And Vaporizer's taken a couple of tenths out of him just in the last couple of laps. Now, as long as Risa maintains composure and brings it home, he should be okay. But it's a bit of a burden when you're in EU1 and you're leading the race knowing that the penalty, but one more false move and it drops you 3 seconds back.
And there is quite a bit to go. There is 11 laps when they cross. And I mean, that is a bit, what is it, about 15 minutes of racing?
Yeah, I think Fruitful might become Reese's new best friend if he can really put Vaporizer under pressure and hold him up that way, because I suspect that'll take the pressure off him somewhat, but the 2.8 seconds with only 1 warning left to play with, I think it's squeaky bum time for Reeser at this moment in time.
Squeaky bum time. IFR Reeser has not won a race this season, and it will be very nice to have him win one. We've had a few winners according to the power rankings. Vaporizer's only won 1 of the 6, but he has had 4 podiums. Bolin has won 2. He's made his way up to 5th. What other wins have we got? Rowan's won 1. Dynastics has won 1. If my maths doesn't deceive me, that adds up to 5, but we've had 6 races. So if anyone can find out who I've missed or who the power ranking has missed, let me know in the chat. I am reading. And yeah, it would be very nice to see a different race winner. That's always nice. Happens in endurance a lot. We've had 5 race winners out of 6 races. So that's
He's
cool.
giving himself the hurry up racer, isn't he? He's taken half a second off of Vaporizer in the last lap or so.
It's quite weird how it can just flick, isn't it? Like, unless it was a mistake by Vaporizer, but then we would have seen Fruitful catch up. So it's amazing how we can just flick. Oh yeah, I'll just get another 3 tenths here. It's all good. Don't worry.
He needs a bit of a buffer, doesn't he? And he needs to start to pull away.
Yeah.
To get a little bit more of a gap. Because if you know that you've got that penalty, the motivation is there. Right, you've got to go. Because it's very easy to sit behind another car ahead.
Just wondering if that was a warning for Vaporizers. Just went very wide at turn 1 and 2.
No.
Tass isn't saying anything.
Still one at the moment.
It's getting close. They're pushing it, aren't they? Every single corner they get as close as they can as to those. Well, I would say white line, but around Australia it's a yellow line for the track limits. You can see it there. White, yellow.
Well, it's green and gold, nation of the green and gold, isn't it? But I think it's to do with the fact that it is a lot of it public roads. So
I was shown a picture, by the way, Jack, of what Albert Park looks like before the race weekend, and it's crazy. Like, it doesn't even look like a racetrack. There's no grandstands, there's no advertising, there's no fence, there's nothing.
No, it really is remarkable, isn't it, how they do turn these into street tracks. I mean, Adelaide is almost, it was the same for many years in Adelaide, and I think it still is. But and now you've got Monaco, obviously, as well, all street tracks. Singapore. It really is remarkable how they do turn these. I think it's a turnaround of almost 5-6 weeks in some places.
Jeez.
And it's crazy, isn't it? It really is impressive.
There's a lot of money that goes into it. On board with Alpine v RP Racing Points, struggling to catch up to Bozeman because he's got DRS to Jono, but Jono is out of, is out of DRS from Calzo, so that's given a reason for the Haas driver. Up front though, we have wheel-to-wheel action between a Williams and a Ferrari. Spinala versus Claire, and one of them has been shunted wide, and it was Alcoa.
Perfectly fair from Rowan. It was his corner. And if you're on the outside there and the car behind, you can fully expect to be pushed to the outside. So perfectly fair from Rowan. Excellent racing as well, because it was actually a pass. We got past him into turn 3, around the outside, hung it out, blocked the exit, which is what you really do need to do at turn 3. You need to block the exit because you've got the high ground for turn 4. Rowan executed that perfectly, and now he's setting off in hot pursuit of Fruitful and Vaporizer. You might still think he can get a podium here.
Yeah, maybe. Denzo, McLaren, out getting shaky out of a high speed chicane of 11 and 12, and Yorno doing alright on those hard so far. Out goes a little bit deep into that corner, and Denzo might feel an opportunity. No, thinks better of it. Stays behind the racing point for now as we head to the second to final corner on board with the McLaren.
So we're at the point now where hard tyres will start to have a slight advantage over the mediums in the next 2 or 3 laps, because they're at that point now where the mediums are starting to lose their best. I think Rowan's had a bit of a bench. He's coming into the pits.
Oh, here goes Bozeman. It's time for him to try and get into P7. Oh, he does it without even having to go wheel to wheel. He's in front of a Red Bull before turn 3 there. That's interesting.
Really late on the brakes. He looks a bit uncomfortable through turn 4, so he's got to get God. But at some point soon, those hard tyres are going to come back in. So I wouldn't say that this is done and dusted yet. He's also took a rather unorthodox line through turn 6, which might have earned him a warning. It has. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Yorno doesn't have any. So it's no sweat for Yorno at the moment. Same with Alp behind, 3/10. That would be the only thing really to change. I think there's been a spinner there.
Rowan, I believe.
Yeah, Rowan's in strife on his way out of the pits. I suspect that.
Oh, someone's come off. It's the Haas driver, Bozeman, who's had a good race so far, and the Mercedes trying to get out of its way as well. And that is wing end plate damage there on the left hand side for the Haas driver. Solid race, and that is how it goes from, oh, there you go, into the gravel trap.
No, the front wing's absolutely smashed a bit, so yeah, he won't.
We saw that with Tom Lobo, by the way. It didn't look like he had that much damage. Here comes Alp, switching left, switching right, goes to the right in the end, and gets that move back. Not back, sorry. He's the next car
Milan and Rowan have hit each other.
Oh,
Milan
really?
Milan has. I don't know how on earth he spun there.
Wait, hit who? Oh, Rowan. Yeah.
Yeah, Milan and Rowan they've come to grief going between turn 10 and turn 11. I don't know how on earth they've done that, but yeah, all very strange. All very strange there. So
Yeah, it's a
certainly
bit.
the Alpha Tauri's missing front wing, former Minardi squad for those of a certain age. Milan, I can't see any issues, but he was turning his car round, so I would suggest that Rowan has hit more strife, I think, going off. It's game over
Strife.
for him, really.
You come up with new words every week. Strife.
Yeah, game over for him.
They use that one in
now,
entrance.
I think that's him. That's him retiring in the bit.
I feel bad.
Well,
it was when we say
it was
people
Rob,
take themselves out of a race, he has literally been taken out of a race.
Yep.
And it, you know, I got a good view of it. I don't know if he was like on board. Like I was in Rowan's shoes, and it was mean.
Well, that's for the stewards to decide. I'm afraid.
I laugh now. Like if that
one.
was for a championship, I wouldn't be laughing. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's always difficult, isn't it? That's it is tough racing. Unfortunately, drivers are going to get it wrong, and drivers are never going to race perfect. As good as these are, they're never going to race perfect, are they? So yeah, just.
But doesn't it make you think that like when you next time you go for the same move in another race, you think, oh, I can't trust this guy. Like it must give you some second thoughts.
Only if they're regular offenders. There are some drivers that are regular offenders and who do like a chat with other cars or the barrier, and there are some that you can go wheel to wheel with, and whether they're really, really tough or whether they're not really, really tough. You know where their limits are. There are some drivers who are really quite unpredictable, and that's in the pits as well. Some drivers are really, really quite unpredictable, and at that point, that's when you think, well, can I trust them, can I not? If you know what you're dealing with, or if you know that they are going to race fair, it's not a problem. But if you don't know what you're dealing with, or you know that they might not race fair on a regular basis, that's when the doubts creep in.
Fair enough. In other news, warning situation stays the same for the front two. Alp is on 2 as well as Yorno, so they've got to be careful. They're next away from a penalty, and still 3 seconds for everyone apart from Jamie and Boastman. Jamie into the points after that spin earlier on that he had in his Mercedes vehicle. Not a bad result if you can get a point on your debut, is it? I wouldn't mind taking a point against these drivers.
No, he's stuck in. He's stuck in well. Konzo is starting to catch him, but at the moment he's got 9 seconds, obviously with the penalty as well. Jamie's got 6 seconds a penalty, so as long as he keeps doesn't lose another 3 seconds, he should be okay. But he's doing okay at the moment, Jamie. You can certainly be pleased with what he's doing. You don't know that Vaporizer's turned the afterburners on a little bit. Took half a second out of Reeser. He must have decided to try and put a bit of pressure on.
Can I have a look at the tyre wear for you? Vaporizer's 1% more highest, so not pretty much bang on.
Yeah, he's just turned the afterburners on a bit. He's using a lot more ERS than he was. He saved a bit earlier in the race. But he's posing the question to Reeser. He's saying to Reeser, can you stand up to this challenge? Are you going to make a mistake? And,
I mean, how scary would it be if he did?
He went half a second faster, Vaporizer, than Reeser on that last lap.
Let's see what extra pace he's got. As things stand, according to TAS, Reeser would move up from 3rd to 2nd in the championship. Vaporizer would stay 1st. Fruitful would stay 4th. Rowan had dropped down from 2nd to 3rd. Arcola would move up 10 places. And Denzo would of course move up a lot because he's not there. Everyone else, it either hasn't updated or it's just not showing very well. I mean, it's not showing what's going to happen to Alp either. So, yeah, I mean, you get the idea of what's going to happen to the top 4 at least.
Well, with Yorno and Jamie, they're not in the championship, are they? They're here scoring constructors' points only, so that accounts for them. Alp, I don't know what it's accounting for Alp, and I'm sure it will account for
he is in the
point.
championship. He's currently 4th with 54 points.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure they'll sort that out. Tebow's a very
Well,
clever man,
Alp's
so I'm sure
alright, because
they'll get sorted.
Fruitful will overtake him as it stands. Rowan has, you know, had that happen. Dynastics is not in the
Gone
league
well.
anymore. Calzo is, okay, 6, but with a penalty. And Alp's going to overtake. So Alp's not going to drop. He's just not going to gain what he would like. He's going to lose more from the top 3.
It must be said though that all of the cars ahead of him have penalties.
Yeah, if there's a late... Well, the safety car won't come now, I'm sure, but... Yeah.
No, but all of the cars ahead do have penalties, and some have multiple penalties. He's only half a second behind Calzo. If you can get rid of Calzo fairly quickly, then he'll be able to at least make an impact on the cars ahead. I'm just looking at the timings now. Just having a look at the warning.
Vaporize is close to another half a second, by the way.
Arkelo is he has, isn't he? Arkelo ahead in 5th is vulnerable to Alp because that gap is 5 seconds thereabouts, and Arkelo is 6 seconds with a penalty, so he's not vulnerable to Calvo at the moment, but he is vulnerable to Alp.
Yes, and it might be vulnerable to a steward inquiry as well. Lap 27 of 29, 2 laps to go when we cross the line. Risa has a 1.8 second gap at the front. Can he keep it? Can he stay away from getting that time penalty that you really don't want, and win the Australian Grand Prix? Will be a good victory. It's been a bit of a weird one, this one. 2 safety cars, 5 laps under it.
Only a 10th that lap though. I think Reese decided to steady the ship a bit. It was only a 10th faster for
one mistake though, isn't it? Just one.
It is one mistake. You're right. If he keeps it on the island, he'll win. And he's led from pillar to post, so you'd feel very sorry for him if he didn't win.
Yeah. You would.
Absolutely,
you would. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on Alp as well, getting that P5.
Fruitful's being sensible because Fruitful has 5 warnings, so one more warning drops him, well, it gets him an extra penalty, but he's buttoning it off. And Rowan, I think, is managing the race quite well as well, ahead of Arkelo. I don't think Rowan is going to be under much stress from Arkelo, because he's normally a driver that does keep a bit of reserve. He normally does use his brain a bit. And indeed they've got the same ERS, so unless Arkelo tries something wild, I don't think it's going to happen.
That, on screen right there, is the gap between the front 2. And literally could come down to one mistake. IFR Risa has 1 more lap to navigate, and we'll go on board with him for the whole lap. And we'll see, and Jack will keep tabs on Arkelo now, but it is difficult to overtake, so I doubt we'll see them overtake behind. And I hope Reese has not got the stream on, because he'll be feeling the pressure. Oh, I thought that was a penalty for someone up the front.
He survived. Don't worry, that was Boastman, you don't need to worry about him. Arkelo going, he's not going to catch him there. Arkelo's used all of his ERS, but to no avail going into turn 3. Reese has kept it on the island so far. It's still only 1 warning.
Who's
for
curious?
Vaporizer as well.
Wizard is curious on the tyre percentages. I just said, but if you just join, 67 and 69 for the front 2 of the highest.
Yes, and just looking at it now as well, Vaporizer's front right, struggling a lot more than Reese's front right, whereas the rears are fairly even. There's 2% in it. But,
he's got it locked.
Yeah,
he's got it locked. Do you know that first part of the chicane where you can just cut? It looks to be over the line, but they do it every time. But I think that's it, everybody. Reese's got 2 more corners to go, and from quali pole to lights out to leading one of the safety cars, he's gonna come across the line with only 2 warnings, no penalties, to win in Albert Park. His first win of the season. Congratulations! And Vaporizer crosses the line to keep his hunt in of a championship with 4 races to go, 4 difficult races to go, and last season's champion gets on the podium.
Puts him right in it, doesn't it? 14 points off of Vaporizer, and Alp rescues 5th from from 7th place. Alp takes 5th because he didn't get any penalties. So that shows the value of keeping it on the island. I don't think Konzo's going to make it. 10th, so JB scores a point reserving guest riding for Mercedes. So that's 26 points for Mercedes. It's also a great haul, isn't it? I think they haven't even been bettered by Mercedes. A great haul for them, and yeah, no, brilliant for the championship as well. This because it closes everybody up. Well, closes Risa and Vaporizer up, doesn't it?
Absolutely, Arcolo just missing out by 297 thousandths of a second, just under 3 tenths. From Alp, who gets his P5 in his pink Mercedes, and Danielle has warned me that I'll get the sack if I don't scroll down the standings, so I will make sure I do that in a second. There's your podium. First win of the season for IFR Risa. Drove very well, helped getting away from the safety car though earlier on, didn't it? Vaporizer not reading that too well, but of course there was a second safety car after that, so it wasn't all done after the first one. And we saw 2 safety cars for 2 retirements, 44 minutes. EU2 yesterday was 41 minutes, so put that into perspective. 16th to 4th for Mr. Bollin, aka Rowan. Very good effort. Yorno 12th to 8th, getting 4 points for Red Bull Constructors. And Jamie getting a point on his endurance debut, and Denzo getting 2. Dynastics replacement. Not a bad showing.
You're getting your endurances in
Oh, was I getting them wrong? Oh, sorry. EU1. I'll scroll down quickly before I forget.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble if not.
There you go.
So that's Fruitful, that's Vaporizer, and that is Risa. So we're going to get them into the party whilst you head off to the showroom. Do know with them whilst we...
I get to put the Mercedes on it now. Yay.
Right, let's get this sorted now. So we're going to go with IFR Risa.
Where's... Right. Let's head off to the showroom, ladies and gentlemen. Now I can see Rowan going into the chat and explaining what happened, and I do not blame him.
Or is he speaking from his point of view? Because sometimes they can be different.
Well, both, because he got absolutely shafted in my eyes. So he had every right.
I must admit, you had a better view of it than I did. So
yes, he has every right to be frustrated, that man.
But we've got Fruitful, yeah. And we've got
Vaporizes him.
Yeah, we've got Fruitful, we've got Vaporizer, and we have Risa. So I'm going to start with third place this time. Third place, and that is IFR Fruitful. Fruitful, third place for what is a very tough, very testing track. You must be pleased to be coming away with another podium to build a bit of momentum going into the final 4 rounds of the season.
Well, exactly. I think third is the best that I could do today. My pace just wasn't there. As you saw, Vaporizer made a push towards Ritze, and I just couldn't hold on whatsoever. So I just tried to save my tires because they were getting towards puncture territory. But no, third was the best I could do.
You were on the back of Vaporizer for quite a while during that race, up until probably lap 20, lap 21. Do you ever think that maybe you could try and overtake him? I know it's very, very difficult here. Was there ever a position for you to do that, or were you thinking more about just keeping it for the constructors with Rowan coming through the field?
No, I wasn't really thinking about an overtake. I was within 5 tenths a few times, but nowhere near enough to actually overtake him.
Well done, Fruitful. Nice to see you again, bud.
Thank you.
Just a couple of simple questions, because I've got to head off. Just assess your performance. Of course, you qualified 6. Could you have done better than that? And of course, the race and your performance.
Yes, I should have done better. My qualifying just wasn't on. So that put me in a really bad position for the race. No, I couldn't have done better in the race.
And of course, next week is Austria. We know how close that is between the EU1 drivers. How are you feeling towards it next week?
I'm decently happy to be driving Austria. You could literally be P1 and P10 in the train and you can't overtake. So the starting position really will be crucial.
Good man. Well, congrats on the podium. Nice to speak to you again, mate.
you.
And have a good night.
He's going to go to second place, Vaporizer. Vaporizer, it was a bit of a charge at the end, wasn't it? You really did reduce the gap to Risa. Was it in an attempt to try and force him into that third warning to get him a penalty, or was it just because you were a bit quicker than him?
Yeah, I don't think I was that much quicker, but I was just pushing. I don't know how many penalties or warnings he had, but I was just trying to get a penalty for him. But yeah, I don't know. Ritz had insane pace on the softs. Like he was 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds ahead already in the soft. So if I would have won that on penalties, I don't think that would have been fair. But in the beginning of the stint in the mediums, he was insane as well. Yeah.
Second place keeps, it's a good result for the championship. Now you're still 14 points clear, so with 4 rounds to go, it's a bit of a cushion if you can just keep consistent. Is that really what you're going to be looking to do? Just bank points and bank good solid points?
Yeah, if I can just keep on going like this, it would be amazing. But I'm probably not there next week because my wheel has to be replaced, so repaired. But yeah, I don't know. So I probably won't be there, and then some guys are.
That's going to throw the championship right in the balance then if you're not there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because there's been 5 different race winners in 7 races.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're going to have although it was already a fight, you're going to have a proper fight now, aren't you, for the championship if you're not there next week? Because
yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know how
there's
the
only
gap
Spain,
is to.
Azerbaijan, and Mexico left.
Yeah, I don't know how the gap is to Bolin, but it's Austria. So I don't know if he's on a wheel or. But yeah, I think he was quite quick last season. Pretty sure, but.
What happened on the first safety car? We saw Risa pull away.
Yeah, I just got held by the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't go on throttle. And, yeah.
Jeez,
He gained like 2
why
seconds.
was that? Was that because you were too close, too far?
No, Rissa was too close to the safety car actually, and that caused me to go slower for some reason, and he wasn't slowed down until
That's
a later point. I
crazy.
think he was slowed down as well, but I was slowed down earlier.
We just thought you got it wrong. Fair enough.
No. Yeah, and I also lost in the last corner actually because I was trying to make up some time, but yeah.
Yeah, I hope you don't listen to that part of the stream later.
Yeah,
That was actually the second.
Yeah, maybe it was Jack's fault. He said you got it wrong. Blame him.
I'll hold my hands up now. I will hold my hands up now.
And Austria Vaporizer. You're not there. Okay, we'll ask you for next week then, because obviously we won't see you on the interview. We'll ask you about Spain and Catalonia then for yourself.
I think it's an okay track. I haven't done it in a while though. But I think I was quite quick in the beginning of the game, at least. So we will see.
Are you going to try your best to win the championship?
Yeah, I'm not gonna win it there though.
Not there, but over the course.
Yeah, obviously, I'm gonna try to win the championship.
Well,
it's gonna be a fight though.
Oh yeah. Oh damn right it is, and we can't wait for it, mate. Well, have a good week off, and make sure you come back firing for Spain.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So we're going to go to the race winner now. I've got a race almost from pillar to post, but there was a bit of added pressure late on because he had 2 warnings for a long time, Reese. Were you quite tense about that, or was it out of your mind?
It was the only thing in my head, to be honest. It's the last 6 laps. I was just focusing on not getting a penalty. So yeah, I don't know. That was the only thing in my head. Yeah, really. And the tires was falling off as well. So I was about 65% or 70 or something. I can't remember. But I'm really happy with the result.
So, obviously, it's you were the quickest driver all weekend, really, all event, because obviously you had the pole position, and there's a almost light stuff flag win. When Calzo stays out for that second safety car, you must think, right, this is my chance, because if I can get past him, you've almost guaranteed a 2-second gap, aren't you? And that's exactly how it played out.
Yeah, my focus was on not to take him into turn 1 because you can't really overtake into turn 1 and 2. But the main focus was to take him on the next straight, going into turn 3, because I knew Vaporize and Fruit was gonna get held for almost a lap behind him, and then I had the chance to pull away. So yeah, that was really what do you say? No.
Thank you for setting up a lobby reset. Well done on the win. Absolutely superb. You're breathing quite heavily. Is it taking its toll on you that race?
I think there's 40 degrees in here, so
Jesus.
yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, I bet. If you could say your favourite thing and the worst thing about your race or performance tonight, what would you say?
I think the quality pace was decent. I've done better, but it was good. But the best thing is probably my decisions, and I made it on at the right times. And the worst thing is probably I lost focus a bit. I got 2 warnings on 2 laps, so it was some stupid ones. So that was probably the worst thing.
Fair enough. And Austria, are you there? And if so, how are we going to do?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, it's a good track for everyone, I think.
Do you know any times that we may hit in quali?
I don't want to put pressure on anybody, but 2.1 or something.
A 2.1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably.
That is quick, isn't it? Jeez, Louis, 68 seconds. Jeez. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you. Maybe on the podium again. But
yeah, hopefully.
Well done on your first win of the season.
Thank you.
And let's see if you can get one more in the last 4.
I'll try.
Good man.
So it just comes to me to sum up really what's been a really rather exciting Australian Grand Prix. It kept us on our toes, and while there wasn't as much on-track action as there has been in the past, everything that did happen was pure racing. To be perfectly honest, not much of it was artificial. So, with that in mind, we'll go to Austria now, which is a very difficult place to overtake depending on your strategy, because there are so many DRS zones. And it presents a much more different challenge. The championship could be open if Vaporizer doesn't make it, because all Risa would need to do to take the lead would be to finish on the podium if my maths is correct. I've got to mention obviously our partnership with the F1 Armchairs group, the Facebook group, where you can debate, chat and talk all things Formula 1, and I suspect there's rather a lot of debate raging at the moment after the recent Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yeah, I would believe so, jumping on the bandwagons for your support. That's it, everybody, from EU1 for Australia this week. EU4 tomorrow, Endurance is in Monza, and please join us again in the Styrian Hills of Austria next Wednesday. Thank you all for being here when EU1 returns. Good night.